What's going on, guys? Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you a review today that has been years in the making. I've been wanting to review these for quite some time. A lot of you guys have been requesting for me to bring a pair of these in for review. I've reviewed the Yeezy football cleat in the past, but never have I reviewed or even owned or even held in my hands a pair of real Yeezy sneakers, but I finally have a pair. I present to you the Yeezy 350 Boost V2, or is that what it's called? No, that was wrong. It's the Yeezy Boost 350 V2. Anyways, I'm making this video not because this is soccer related in any way at all, but I guess you'll see a review of a Yeezy 350 V2 from the perspective of a guy who reviews soccer cleats. If that's something that sounds interesting, that's what's gonna happen in today's video, including how they fit, feel, and look on feet, if you're just curious about how I thought they felt. But anyways, I've never owned a pair of these and I've wanted to own a pair for a long time. I have my fair share of sneakers, as you can see. Like these, and these, and all of these. So since I finally have a pair, I figured I would make a review. Hopefully you enjoy it. If you do, be sure to support it with a like. Let's start by answering the two #1 questions that will surely be in the comments of this video. One, how much did I pay for these? Too much. That's really the main reason why I haven't had a pair of Yeezys up until this point. I am not one to pay over retail for anything, let alone a pair of sneakers. If I buy sneakers, it's because one, I like them, and two, because I genuinely want to wear them. So for me to go and pay resale prices for some of these Yeezy sneakers that are just crazy expensive, I would be too afraid to wear them if I bought them for that amount of money. So that's really the main reason why I haven't bought them up until now. This is the Beluga version 2 or Beluga 2.0 colorway, and you can get them for what is still way too expensive over the normal retail price, which I think is like $220. I paid under $400. I guess that's about as specific as I want to say, which I still think is too much. It is my most expensive sneaker in my current collection, but I do intend on wearing them, so there is that. Question #2 is, can you play soccer in them? And the simple answer to that question is, I guess if you really wanted to like juggle or something, you could absolutely do that. It is a Primeknit upper. It's not particularly low profile. I'm not sure that the touch would be all that incredible. It's got this really thick seam running down the middle as well. However, you could definitely do it if you really wanted to. I'm just not sure why you'd want to spend $400+ on a pair of sneakers and then ruin them playing soccer. It's really just made for casual wear. I personally don't really care, but a lot of people do. This is the box that it comes in. It says 350 on the top, Boost on the side, and then there's a look at the size tag for those that are wondering. It is a drawer style box. It's kind of oversized, but that's what they come in. As far as the sneakers themselves are concerned, I have legitimately never held a pair of Yeezys in my hand up until this particular pair, so I didn't really know too much about what to expect aside from just the way they look. I guess the one thing that surprised me about them in person is that the Primeknit upper is very soft and sock-like. I don't know why, but I just got the impression that it was gonna have more glue in the construction and just be a firmer overall material, but it's really, really soft. So from a comfort standpoint, these are actually pretty comfortable. I don't love the way that this seam down the middle feels, and on this particular colorway, it's not really all that noticeable, but it's noticeable in terms of the feel on feet because it's just much stiffer through the middle of the shoe because of that seam. But it is also interesting to note, because it's kind of more difficult to tell online, that all of these different colors are within the knitted material itself. It's nothing that's actually painted or printed on top. And there is actually variation in the Primeknit material itself, where you can see it's a lot more dense here, where it says Supply 350. Does that stand for supply? I honestly don't really know. Funny story, when I first got them and took them out of the box, I was looking at them and I'm like, why does it say Supply 350 backwards? And I actually had to go online and check again to make sure that that's how they actually are, because I just wasn't really paying that close attention to the wording right there, but it is actually supposed to be backwards as far as I know. And I just thought it's cool that the Primeknit gets more dense here on this seam, and then it kind of gets more open as you get towards the medial side. And I think that the V2 version of the Yeezy 350 just looks better. I prefer having a little bit of pattern within the Primeknit material. I think it shows off the fact that it is knitted, and I just think it gives the shoe a more premium look, especially if you're gonna be paying that crazy price tag for them. It does have a one-piece construction to the upper, technically, using a dual lace hole system, and then it does have these kind of rope style laces that I think are suited for the shoe itself. It's got a little bit of this kind of nylon material around the edge here, kind of extends up higher, and then it's kind of got that S-curve heel that was originally found on the Ultra Boost and obviously has been used on a lot of different sneakers from Adidas up until this point. It's got the little tab right here on the back made of nylon with the little kind of orangish red strip running through the middle. And then internally, it's got 3 stripes that are actually reflective in the liner, which I thought was pretty cool. This really soft material, nice amount of padding back there as well. And then the shoe does actually have an insole, which I wasn't entirely sure about, but the insole, fully removable of course. I think I'll probably wear them without the insole just because you sit directly on top of the Boost midsole, which I personally prefer. I do the same with my Ultra Boost sneakers. You can just see it says Adidas Yeezy with the Originals logo there in the middle. And then it's just a gray mesh liner on top, really nothing fancy at all. It's actually, I would say, a pretty cheap insole in terms of the foam that they've used. And then, what does it say right there? Doesn't say anything. And then you can see on the inside, it's got the Boost, but a little bit of a liner on top, kind of like a synthetic suede type material, which I believe you can wear them both ways. I'm probably gonna wear them without the insole. The midsole and outsole I thought was pretty interesting in person as well, because you can't really get a good idea of the construction just from pictures online. But basically what they've done is it's made up of 3 separate pieces. So you can see at the very back, and I'm gonna do my best to show you this, you can see there's a seam right here and a seam right there. They've done a good job to hide it within the texturing. But basically you have this little strip that extends up the back and then wraps all the way underneath, so it makes up for all the rubber here on the bottom of the shoe, and then curls up over top of the toe. And then if you look at either side of the toe, there's a little seam right there as well on both sides. And then these 2 side pieces are basically strips that go all the way to the back, again attaching at that point here at the heel. And then you can see along the bottom edge right here, there's a seam as well. They've done a really good job to make it look as if it's all one piece, but basically all this rubber is what's encapsulating the Boost material, which basically extends for the entire foot. It's thickest towards the heel. You can kind of see it through the translucent gray rubber that you get on this particular colorway. It's really, really thick at the very back, and then it kind of tapers down and gets thinner and thinner as you get towards the front. But really, it's a solid amount of boost, and the underfoot cushioning you get is really, really nice. It does, to a certain extent, I would say feel more cushioned than something like the Ultra Boost, but if I had to compare it to another pair of sneakers that I actually have right now, in terms of overall feel, it would actually be the Adidas EQT 9317. That really reminds me of these on feet. Just because I know you guys will ask, and I do it in all my other reviews anyways, how much does the Yeezy 350 V2 actually weigh? Well, in a size 10 US, they weigh in at 13.2 ounces, which obviously isn't super light. It's not really heavy for a pair of sneakers. And really, I wouldn't say that these feel heavy on your feet at all. If anything, they're just really comfortable. It has a sock-like upper. It has the Boost through the entire midsole, which feels extremely comfortable. Tons of underfoot cushioning. And for casual wear, the weight is not an issue whatsoever. All right, so here is a look at the shoes on feet. The first couple things that I immediately notice is that it's a much bulkier sneaker than I was honestly expecting. They don't look or feel that bulky in hand, but on your feet, you definitely realize how much this kind of midsole kind of bubbles out on you, which is not a bad thing. I actually think the shoe looks pretty cool. It's just when you look down, your feet end up being much wider than I guess you expect them to be. And as far as underfoot cushioning is concerned, the amount of boost you get, especially in the heel area, is really good. This is a very, very comfortable shoe. The only thing that bothers me about the fit is what I complained about earlier. It's that stitching running through the middle of the upper. It's kind of like a hard spot on what is otherwise a very soft, kind of sock-like material with the Primeknit for pretty much the entire construction of the shoe. Lacing them up, I kind of just left them laced pretty loose. I think they look the best that way. It's not really one of those sneakers I think you want to tie up particularly tight. That's really personal preference based on looks and feel though, I would say. The shoe is actually really, really flexible. So for walking around and just general comfort, there's not much to complain about here. Width-wise, I'd say they're gonna be suitable for just about everybody. The Primeknit is kind of slightly stretchy, so there's a decent amount of width to begin with. I don't think if you have wide feet, you're gonna have any issues with these. And as far as the sizing is concerned, I ended up going with a 10 US, as you guys saw earlier in the video. And the reasoning for that is a lot of people advised me that these ran a little bit smaller than the average Adidas sneaker. I personally wear a size 9.5 US in an Adidas Ultra Boost, and that fits me pretty much perfect. So I listened to that advice and I went with a 10 instead of a 9.5. And honestly, I think it was the right advice. For the most part, I would say that these do run half a size small. I think if I went with a 9.5, they would still fit. They would just be a lot tighter overall. So for casual wear, I don't mind the way these fit in a size 10, which is a half size larger than my normal size. And I'm usually pretty picky about shoes being a little bit sloppy on my feet, but honestly, these feel really, really comfortable. So I think for most people, unless you want the fit to be really, really snug, I would recommend going a half size up. So I guess the ultimate question to conclude this review is, are they worth it, especially if you have to pay the resale prices? And really, I think the answer to that question comes down to how badly you want these. For me, I really like pretty much all the Yeezy sneakers, but because I can't get them for retail and I have to pay some of the crazy resale prices, it's just not really worth it to me. I don't necessarily want them that bad. I'm glad I have this pair now. I do really like them. I find them really comfortable and I think it's a cool looking sneaker, but because of how expensive it is, or how much at least I had to pay for them, I am gonna be paranoid pretty much every single time that I wear them, which I don't love. I think what's great about sneakers for me is I can go to the store, buy a sneaker that's not really overly hyped up, that I don't necessarily have to worry about going up in value tremendously, at which point where I can't really wear them. For me, the fun part about sneakers is actually wearing them. So when you have these really expensive sneakers that do hold value or go up in value, I'm just nervous about wearing them. I will wear this pair, but it's not necessarily going to be an enjoyable experience just because I know how expensive they are. If you're one of those people that can forget about that completely or it just doesn't matter to you, then absolutely, it's probably worth it. But for me, I don't know about getting another pair, maybe down the road if I really, really like a particular colorway, but I'm glad I have them now. We'll see what happens in the future. And that is pretty much it for my review of Yeezys, something I have never done on this channel. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to support it with a like. If you do have any questions for me regarding this shoe or other shoes, of course, leave that down below in the comments and I'll do my best to get an answer out to you as soon as I possibly can. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear, and of course the occasional Yeezy video, probably not another one for a very long time, but subscribe if you aren't already. All my social media information linked down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.